which doesn't make any sense. What's up, Andrew? How old are you?
28.
28. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Andrew, why the hell did you do that?
I know. First off, I want to say, Dean, a long-time listener, first-time caller. Nice to finally chat with you.
Nice to chat with you as well, Andrew. Why'd you vote for Trump?
Yeah, it was more so a protest vote against the Democratic Party, unfortunately. Did vote Democrat in my past two elections, Hillary and Biden, but I was not a huge fan of where the party was going. And
Yeah, like what
unfortunately,
specifically within the Democratic Party did you vote for Trump to protest?
yeah, so one would be, I think they kind of lost the plot when it came to DEI. Uh,
So, like,
uh,
what specifically?
yep. So I think Biden coming out and saying he'll be only picking a woman for vice president is harmful. I don't think that is productive. I don't think that's DEI
So,
in
do
the
you think
sense
that
that
Kamala Harris didn't have like legitimate qualifications
that
to serve as the
that's
vice
not
president of our
that's
country?
not what I said. I said
So then her race isn't the
specifically
only reason why he picked her.
that did I say the race was the only
Yeah, you did.
I said Biden.
I like to clarify that you did say that.
Biden himself said he was only picking a woman for vice president. That rhetoric is not productive.
Okay, so here's what Biden actually did. Biden had a selection of candidates that he could pick to serve as his vice president that were all qualified to serve as his vice president.
But
Every single person.
his words
Andrew, are you going to
was
go ahead and let me finish speaking? So, what Biden did is, in his own words, he said that he chose like Kamala Harris, not only because of her qualifications, but also because she was a black woman, and black women have been underrepresented within positions of leadership throughout all of modern American history, like even today. And it is the case that this doesn't nearly just serve as a symbol for equity and diversity. This is also just pragmatically a good decision. We've never had a black woman serve in a high up governmental position before. This means that there's probably concerns of black women in America today that have been completely repressed and underrepresented due to the lack of representation in high up positions of power. So it is pragmatically a good decision to advocate for diversity inside of a presidential administration and to include demographics of individuals that have not had representation prior to provide better policy for your constituents. And I agree with that. So you're more mad at Biden for picking a black woman, a very qualified black woman, than Donald Trump for banning access to abortion. Donald Trump saying that he wants to have America go into the Gaza Strip and personally ethnically cleanse all 2.1 million people on the Strip to off the Strip. Donald Trump passing economic policy that hurts everybody making under $400,000 per year. What's more regressive? You tell me.
So you put a few words in my mouth. There. I never said anything about Kamala's qualifications. I never said if the pool was qualified, yes or no. I said Biden specifically saying after the 2020 DNC primary, I believe it could have been another. Could have been another event, but you could look it up. You could search Biden choosing a woman for vice president. He said he's only considering a woman. That rhetoric, if it's true that she is the most qualified candidate, that is one thing. To say a woman is only the candidate I'm looking at is bad rhetoric. That is not DEI in the sense. That is not being inclusive. That's being exclusive to an entire gender. That's not productive in my sense.
Oh, okay. Would you be able to give me a source that he said that he's only going to pick a woman? I've not heard that one.
I'm not sure if I can. Do you know if I can scroll up to my? I'm on my phone here. I don't know if I leave the live, but if you just search, you can search Biden announces he will be choosing a woman vice president.
I did. I couldn't find anything. I mean, like,
You really?
I've seen a clip of Biden saying before that, like the fact that she's a black woman was important to his administration, but I've never seen him saying that he was only considering women. Like, I'm just seriously asking for
Are you
source,
Okay. I'll go to another point for now.
Wait, why? Like, I'm actually curious about that. I want to know if he said he was only
I
considering
don't
black
know if I
a
can.
woman, so
I'm
I can
not
give you
near
my
my computer.
thoughts.
I don't. Do you know if I scroll, if I move my the live to just search on Google
If
on my
you leave
phone?
the
Will it?
live, you could go on Google and look it up and come back.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna go to move on to our next guest, and then
I'm right back. I'm right back.
all right, we're gonna get the next guest up here. I just saw, bro.
Politico has it.
Okay, Politico. I can't hear you when you're off of the live, so go get the source.
I
I'm waiting. Everyone, just give us a minute,
search up on
bro. Andrew, dude.
Biden vows to search up.
I
Sorry,
can't
search
hear
on
you unless you're on the
Politico.
live.
Search on Politico. Biden vows to select a woman as vice president.
Awesome. Biden says he'll choose a woman as a running mate. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for providing me that source. I don't just see it from Politico, but also from NBC. So we can now confirm that that is something that Biden said. Here's my thoughts on the fact that Biden had said that. I think that's a great thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that the fact that we've never had a woman in a high-ranking position of power insofar as the executive branch of our government has led to many forms of systemic oppression that have existed against women that wouldn't have otherwise if we had women in those same positions of power. I think that him vowing to choose a woman for his running mate as his vice president was a good thing. I think it was a great thing. I think that our government is in dire need of more representation, and I absolutely support that decision.
I just disagree. I guess we could agree to disagree on this.
But it better serve to the constituents. Like we have to make
awesome.
We have to make a
Sorry,
recognition.
can I finish, Dean?
Almost. We have to make a recognition and understand the fact that there is different demographics of individuals, such as men and women, white people, black people, etc., that require different things in America today because of systemic forms of oppression that have existed in America historically speaking. Right? There are special interests of women that are not true of men because women have been oppressed in ways that men haven't. There are special interests of black people that aren't true of white people because black people have undergone forms of systemic oppression that white people haven't. And I'm just, going to be honest, man. It is absolutely the case that a woman is going to better understand the interests and the needs of women compared to a man. Just like a poor person is going to better understand the special needs and interests of poor people than a billionaire. Right? And that's an undeniable fact. So I think Biden vowing to choose a woman as his running mate points out the fact that representation matters as it could lead to better empirical outcomes for all constituents of our country compared to just 50%. And I stand behind that 110%. And I also think that even if I admit that there is a problem with ruling out half of the base of other men, which I don't think there is for the reasons I just described, that there's significantly larger problems that we see from Trump.
Yeah. Again, I'm not a Trump supporter. It was a protest vote. But again,
so you saw something that you deemed as wrong on the left, which I just addressed, and I think gave a really good argument to demonstrate that it's not wrong. So therefore, you voted for the candidate that was worse.
Unfortunately, we have a two-party system in the U.S. Well, I was kind of had my hand tied. Like I said, it was a protest vote against the party.
Wait, I think that protest votes are stupid. I think if you want to protest something that your party is doing, that you do that in any way but voting against them in a presidential election, especially when they're running against somebody such as Donald Trump. Like, I don't think that the additional pain that Palestinians will suffer is worth it. I don't think that a continued 66 million human rights violations for women and girls is worth it. I don't think that regressive economic policy that hurts anybody making under $395,000 per year is worth it. And you have to say that all those things are worth it to protest the fact that Biden said he would only choose a woman. I think that you have a great burden in justifying that it's worth it.
I have other points I'd love to discuss, but you keep going on these long. I've barely been able to even really support my position outside of being able to give you the political.
Right.
Can I continue? Can I continue my position?
I want you to justify that it was worth it.
Honestly, I didn't think ultimately Kamala would lose. Like I said, I think it is important as an American you use your right to vote as your right to vote. My personal beliefs, it was a protest vote against the Democratic
So answer my party. Do you believe that it was worth it?
I just said probably not.
Probably not. So you regret your vote for Trump, and in retrospect, you would have voted for Harris.
I think I would have voted third party actually. in retrospect.
Dude,
But
regardless if
okay,
you're voting
can I
for
can I
Trump or against
can I
Kamala, the
can I
same
back
empirical
up more
outcome
of
is
my
still going to be in the
position?
case. Wait,
Can I back up more of my
now I
position?
want you to justify that voting for a third party is worth it.
Okay, all right. You're not gonna swindle me into this argument. I'm not prepared for this argument. I came prepared with all right. In terms of Harris being the highest qualified, have you ever heard of an undocumented veteran?
Have I heard of an undocumented veteran?
Would that even be possible?
I don't know the rules and regulations on if like an undocumented migrant can serve in our armed forces. I don't know.
Think about it for 2 seconds. Do you think that would be possible? Undocumented migrant
Well,
serving
it
your
wouldn't
country.
require thinking about it for 2 seconds. It'd probably require like a minute of research going on Google to see if
Okay,
there's
well,
any
it's not.
restrictions. I don't know.
It's not. You cannot be an undocumented.
Okay.
And
I've
during
seen a lot of
the
people in the chat that say that it's possible and they can. But
you
for
can
intents
again
of
you could do. You just said 1 minute of
for an
research if you'd like to
oh
look it up.
wait yeah no can't they just be a veteran from another country?
No.
No, they can't.
Undocumented.
Wait.
Sorry.
An
Let me
undocumented
clarify.
American veteran.
Undocumented U.S. veteran.
Okay. Well, for intents and purposes, I'll just say no. Even though a lot of the people in the chat are saying yes, they can. I just want to see where you're going with your argument.
During the DNC primary again during 2020 when Kamala Harris was speaking, she took time out of her one of her speeches to shout out and say she wanted to acknowledge all of the undocumented veterans that have served our country, and I think that is impossible. I don't think someone that is commander in chief doesn't know an undocumented veteran isn't a thing. I don't think that person can lead.
You idiot. Donald Trump doesn't know he lost the 2020 election.
I'm not
I've
a
had
Donald
enough of
Trump
your shit.
supporter.
I've had enough of your shit.
You're
in the context,
it's
not a straw. It's not a straw.
Good job, Dean. Good job, Dean.
Okay,
it's
so
been great.
This is where
It's been great. I think you got wrecked and
No, Andrew, here's why you got wrecked. Because in the context of a presidential election, it's going to be a comparative analysis between the two candidates.
You haven't refuted a thing I said.
Wait, if I got wrecked, how come you interrupted me? If I haven't refuted a single thing you said, how come you interrupted me?
You've interrupted me many times.
Yeah, because you're over here like, get wrecked, kid, after I'm trying to explain why you're wrong. How about you fucking like have some humility?
You keep saying I'm a Donald Trump supporter. I'm not. It was a protest vote.
No, you are a Donald Trump supporter, and I could explain exactly how. Are you ready?
How am I a supporter of Donald Trump?
Because you fucking voted for him. 2 brain cells. I don't know. But now I'm just going to go back to my argument. Please don't interrupt me. It is the case that when we are voting in the context of a presidential election, we will never, ever, ever just consider what one candidate can or can't do, wants to do or doesn't want to do, believes or doesn't believe, but we will always be considering what one candidate can or can't do, will do, won't do, believes or doesn't believe, contrasted to what the other candidate can or can't do, does or doesn't do, believes or doesn't believe. It will always fall down to a comparative analysis. I'll give you an example. I am not an Israel fan. I am pro-Palestine. What were the Democrats? Pro-Israel. So if I'm thinking about presidential elections like you do, I'm going to say, well, because Kamala Harris supported Israel and just some humanitarian aid to Palestine in protest of that, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And the reason why a comparative analysis is so important here is because I must also evaluate Donald Trump, his positions towards Israel, his positions towards Palestine, to see if they would lead to worse empirical outcomes contradictory to what I believe in, such as the humanitarian needs of Palestinians. And they do. Therefore, although I don't support Kamala Harris's position on Israel, as Donald Trump's is worse, I'm still going to vote for her. And I feel like this is really important for us to discuss because you're telling me that Kamala Harris said that there's undocumented veterans. You're saying they can't exist. There's 1,000 people saying in my chat that they can.
Just look it up then.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that they can't exist, and Kamala Harris was wrong. A comparative advantage here is a necessity because, well, Donald Trump said that he won 2020. You know what I mean? And if telling misleading, like false statements makes you less likely to be a good leader, instead of saying, well, she told this one misleading false statement, which means I must vote for the other party, we must see if the other party has told any larger or more misleading false statements, which would make Donald Trump worse at leading, meaning all things considered, Kamala Harris was the better candidate. Get fucking wrecked.
Dean, thank you for that whole soliloquy. The thing is, I have other things to talk about, but you keep saying my only reason is Kamala said this. My only reason is Biden said he would pick a woman. You're not interested in a debate here. I think what you like to do is just wait for people that are not educated, that are not all prepared for a debate with you, and then you get to dunk on them and then feel good. You get their likes, you get your donations. It feels great. But whenever someone wants to come and have a discussion, an actual with backup and things that want to speak out, you go on your soliloquies and then you kick them. So, like I said, I don't think you're interested in an actual conversation.
And you're going to
Have a
run.
good one.
Exactly.
Have a
Bye,
good
Andrew.
one.
You're going to run. Guess what? In a very calm tone, without the use of large explosive adjectives, here sitting in my chair, I took a minute to explain to you why a comparative advantage is required for voting for a candidate in a presidential election. For the 6.4 thousand people watching on TikTok and the thousands of people watching at home, we just saw the largest projection in modern American history. That's right. When Dean dunks on you, all you gotta say is that Dean's not here to debate, and Dean interrupts and kicks his guests, and he just goes on his soliloquies, and then kick yourself. If me removing myself from a conversation with somebody I'm debating means I don't want to debate and I'm scared, which is what you're hinting at by saying I kick my guest, which is only true when they slur, you just removed yourself from this conversation. According to his own logic, he got wrecked. According to his own logic, he's scared. According to his own logic, he can't debate. And I think it's fucking funny that he was saying that, oh, I just come on live to get my little donations by talking to people that are very uneducated. Obviously, framing himself as the one educated guest we've had on the stream all day. Why did the one educated guest that we've had on the stream all day hang up on himself after I give him a counter argument to what he believes in that he can't refute? It's not looking too good for MAGA.